two voices of Ninjago. Woo! Can we get our panelists on stage, please? Oh, they said no. I'm sorry. Panel over. Thanks for coming. Yay! So we're gonna go.
Good morning, Baltimore!
So we're gonna go down the line and have everyone say who they are and who they voice on the show.
My name is Vincent Tong, and I play Kai on Ninjago.
My name is Drummond, and I play Cruncha and Knuckle early on, and maybe you'll see me again. Wink, you never know.
What? I'm looking up who I was, because I know some of them.
You said it yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to.
I think you were Scales?
Yeah, Scales.
Yes, I play Scales. My name is Ian James Corleet. I play Scales. And a pirate. And and a monkey. Oh heck. And another bad. I was kind of specialized in bad guys on Ninjago, and there might be more.
What?
Just more. Yeah.
So first off, did you guys play with Legos as kids?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But they were only square.
Yeah.
Or oblong.
I don't think we had any little people when I was younger. It was
No.
all just pieces.
No,
Yes,
the only
the bricks.
The only sets, and it was when I was an older kid that had people and things, was Playmobil.
Duplo.
Well, I don't know.
Diplo.
Yeah, so when we were kids, Lego it was like bricks. That was it.
So what was the biggest thing you ever built out of Legos?
I had my very first Lego set was a spaceship. So when I watched the Lego movie and the guy was like, spaceship! I totally could, I could feel what he wanted to do.
I was terrible at Lego. So
How can you be terrible at Lego?
because
You can't put it together? There's only one way.
I have a great vision, but when it came to putting it all together, I don't remember now you get sets. I just remember having bins of the stuff and no directions.
Right.
So it's all in my mind what I have to build. And I was like, half a house, and I'd forget to put windows, and then
you need windows.
no roof. That was.
Yeah, you need a roof.
I built lots of stuff, like huge things, like houses and amusement parks, out of bricks. It was the original Minecraft.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
My wife's dad is a builder and architect, and we've had tons of Lego for my kids. They were great at it. But for a recent Christmas, we got him. There's an architectural series of Lego. I don't know if you've seen the white stuff.
Yes.
And he's a designer, and he's used it to actually build his homes and design with it, and it's pretty beautiful stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, I love Lego, and I feel like my son's now 20, but when he was a little kid, every time we went shopping, we were buying some kind of Lego. Every time we went away, we were buying some kind of Lego, and he literally has, I think it's 8 of those big Rubbermaid bins full of Lego. He's
It's
just
worth big money right now, my friend. Do not give that stuff away.
I will not. And just while I'm yapping, I remembered another character. I didn't remember. I looked up. Another character. I'm also Master Chen.
So this is a question for Brian. What's it like voicing 2 characters? And do you ever have to talk to yourself in different voices?
Well, I've had to do that lots of times before, and that was for Crunch and Knuckle. It was fun because when they're very different, it's not a problem. When they're completely, because one of those guys was really high pitched and one was kind of a deep one. So those when you play a role, maybe you're cast early in a show, and he's kind of a deep, scary bad guy, and then 3 or 4 seasons in, they cast you as someone else, and then you think they're never going to end up in scenes together, and it's kind of similar, and then they throw them in a scene together, and you're like, oh, geez, no one really knew how much these guys are kind of similar. That's when it becomes a little bit problematic, but those 2 guys are really different, and it's not that hard. It's pretty fun.
So, is there any difference between voicing a show for boys and a show for girls?
What's a show for boys and a show for girls these days?
That's true. Fair.
Oh,
I know, it's true.
scoring points.
It's just a show for me.
Just a show, I think.
Show for kids. Like I don't know. I mean, like none of my kids didn't seem to get stuck to one thing or another. So I think things are marketed certain ways.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're here at a My Little Pony convention, which was I don't think initially designed for this crowd.
No, I don't see a lot of completely just little girl audiences here.
No.
Yeah.
But in terms of like doing a show like Ninjago versus My Little Pony, there's a lot more fighting for sure.
Yeah.
A lot more screaming and lots of spinjitzu and jujitsu and kaimitsus.
The difference now is more on age groups. Like if it's a preschool show or age 5 through 10, they don't get gender specific on things at all anymore. Now they just say this is a show for it's preschool, it's 3 to 5-year-olds, this is 5 to 8-year-olds, 8 through 12, and then there's differences that come in with the pace. You've got to slow things down for preschool, and then you speed it up. There's more action as you get into the older kids, and the language gets a little saltier as you get into preteens. So that's where it changes, but they really steer clear of any type of gender specifics now.
Yes.
So, if you could have any element of spinjitzu, what would it be?
Yeah, Ian. What would it be?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
None of my characters ever do that stuff.
What are they all?
I don't know. There's like anything. I think you can do anything. I think in the beginning there was like, do you guys know any elements of spinjitzu? Which one? Just shout it out. Fire, ice, earth, lightning. Nice. And then did you guys watch the one speed? Yeah, that's right. For Ian's when he was Master Chen, there was like a big elemental fight or tournament of warriors.
Oh, right.
Where they had a bunch of different elements. So there's like speed, shadow, smoke. So some guy's elemental power was just like, you're dead. I'm gonna get you. Just wait a second. Hold on.
I really like Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'd like that
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Group of elements
Do you remember?
playing constantly in my backyard.
I like fire just because I play Kai, and he gets to say fire sometimes. I want muscles. We just heard a Diana Ross song on the way here. That's called "I Want Muscles."
Do you know that one?
I do.
1982?
No, I know that.
Wow, you actually know the song.
We heard it in the car. It's the best.
It
song
was
ever.
it was the same album as.
What was the flip side? That was the good song. 'Cause that was the terrible one.
It was a terrible song, but it did rev us up for this.
Yeah.
It was something physical as well. I can't remember.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
I get on that.
Get on it.
Google it. All right.
If
But I
only
like
there was
lightning.
a device that we could use to store information and look things up.
Perhaps using your phone.
So, do you feel like your work on Ninjago has prepared you for being a ninja?
I think I've always been a ninja, even before I played one on TV. I had one Halloween costume as a kid, and it was a crappy poo-poo. There's not a lot of people in this. I can't remember that song. Oh yeah, my answer is, I had one Halloween costume, and it was a black ninja outfit. And every year I would wear it for Halloween. And for whatever reason, I thought I would be hilarious if I cut a hole in my mom's hamper, and she was like, "You better do this." I'm like, "No, I'll do this. It's a hilarious idea." You know how you have Jack in the Box? I was gonna be a ninja in a hamper. Exactly. That was my mom's reaction. She laughed in my face. And then I was like, "I'm gonna do it. It's hilarious." Instead of a Jack in the Box, I'm a ninja in a hamper. So I cut a hole in the box, and I tied suspenders around it, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm a ninja," and it didn't work at all. And I didn't end up doing it because I got really embarrassed in the morning. I was like, "That's the stupidest idea ever," and I had to pay for a new hamper. But yeah,
I have not been prepared to become a ninja.
no.
Because of Ninjago, I'm sorry. Except one day when we had that session and the air conditioning was out in the studio.
Yes.
That took some serious focus. It was a day where there must have been 30 actors on the show.
Ooh.
And the AC went out in Cosmo Studios.
And people were lying on the floor.
Ninja focus would be required.
And some of those actors, they live on farms with animals and they're smelly.
Oh, they're
News.
stink.
That's where I wanted the
Ninja power of invisibility. Getting out of there.
We all use ninja power when you have to go tinkle in the studio because you have to go out very quietly.
I just have a cup beside me.
Yeah.
I end up drinking. No, this is weird. Next question. Next question, please.
Are there any characters on Ninjago that you wish you could be voicing?
Master Chen.
Yeah, he brings that up all the time. I don't know why.
No, I really like doing. I really like doing Kai. Do you guys like Kai? Yeah. Woo, thanks. Did you guys watch the show since the beginning? Yeah. Did you guys know who the Green Ninja was gonna be? Yeah. No. I thought it was gonna be me. I really did think it was gonna be Kai because he was the last person to discover his true potential or reach his true potential. And I was like, he's the last one. He's gonna turn green. And then this other kid comes along and Lloyd, and he becomes the Green Ninja. But I do enjoy being Kai and being the Master of Fire. So
I have a favorite character. Saying that you would like to voice another character is a little dangerous.
Yeah.
Because
Your friends are playing it.
Yeah. Let me just say, I really, really like Master Wu. I just think that Paul does a great job.
yes.
It's so, every time he starts talking, I go, oh, yeah, that's a good voice.
I love Garmadon. I think Mark's voice is amazing. So
right. Mark
Oliver.
Yeah,
He's just
good
got
point.
an incredible voice, and he suits the character perfectly. But that's the one whenever I hear, I go, geez, that's a cool part.
So out of all of your voice roles, what do you think your favorite character would say if they stepped on a Lego?
Say that again?
Out of all of your voice roles, what do you think your favorite character would say if they stepped on a Lego?
Wow. Your favorite character, or any character?
Any character we play?
Someone with
Yes.
character you play would say if they stepped on a Lego. You know, we're not allowed to curse in here, and almost every character.
I just did.
Stepping on a Lego. You just. That usually brings out foul language in my house, stepping on a Lego. So I have to think of a non-cuss word that I would say.
I played this guy named Erwin in Nerds and Monsters, and he would probably go, "Oh, my bunions!" It's popped. And there's pus everywhere. Oh. Have you seen the show? It's disgusting.
Yeah, it's a very
That would actually happen.
pussy, farty, poopy.
We're all in that show.
Nerds and Monsters, look it up. I don't think.
Very
Is
good.
it distributed in the U.S.?
I don't know. I think it's like a white.
It'll be somewhere.
If you like boogers and farts.
We're all in that.
Yeah.
Let's turn this into a Nerds and Monsters panel.
Yeah. You should.
Okay, my favorite character, I'm gonna go way back. Take a trip with me in the Wayback Machine to Sonic the Hedgehog. Yay! And one of my favorite characters was Coconuts, the little monkey. And if he stepped on a Lego, he'd probably go, "Ow, my freaking toe!" Yeah. Cocoa nuts.
I don't know. A favorite, of course. Vegeta's a favorite. He would probably say blame someone else. Like, Kakarot, you fool! You left the Lego out!
So, what body of work or role would you say that you connect to the most?
These are good questions.
Yeah, you got tough ones.
Yeah, these are really.
You gotta email us these in advance. Work on this so I can
Okay, well, I'll go. I mean, this is a role that I played on stage. This is a show called La Cage aux Folles. And if you guys have watched the Nathan Lane and Robin Williams movie called The Birdcage, that's basically the show. And I played the butler. His name is Jacob. And I love playing this guy. The director really let me fly and do whatever I wanted. And I played him with the Filipino accent. And I was this little butler for these two guys. And I wore short shorts, very short shorts the whole time. And when I could dress up in a dress, I wore a dress. I had this beautiful red gown. And he was very, very pretty. And I could walk on the furniture and do my hairs and, you know, different things. And I really connected to him. Because he's like my inner animal. My spirit animal.
got one? No, like so hard. These are such tough questions.
It's too early.
And it's 10 a.m.
There's a type of character that I do. I've done this in a few different series. It's kind of like, I'm telling secrets, but you know, you kind of have go-to voices sometimes. And there's a voice that I've done it in, it was a Studio B show. Andrea Libman was in it. Do you know Andrea Libman?
Yeah, she plays it.
Just checking to see if you're awake. She played Lemony. You were in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yakety Yak. I played a character named Mr. High Pants. And he wore his pants high, obviously.
He ran the candy store.
He ran the candy store and he used to call her Lemony. Because he dropped syllables here and there. And I just really like him. And I've done this kind of character. I did a version of that for Sabrina, what's the current title? Sabrina the something witch. The most recent Sabrina series, I played Salem the cat. And he sounded a little bit like that. So I just like those guys because they're kind of persnickety and they kind of cut a little bit. And it's just a fun character to voice. Say that again? Oh, Hugh Test, yeah. You know what? Hugh is in that same kind of range. Like he doesn't have that kind of voice, but he does have that kind of what's going on here, kids? Hugh Test from Johnny Test, if you didn't hear that. Yeah, good point. Thank you.
I think for me, probably in recent years, Geronimo Stilton was I played the role of Geronimo in a series we did. And a lot of people probably know the books. It didn't air on television, but the DVDs were distributed globally, and it's a really fun character who's a bit stumbly and bumbly, but always looking for an adventure and mystery solving. I loved, I don't know if you guys know The Great Mouse Detective, the Disney movie. Geronimo Stilton is a lot like that, and I've always enjoyed that movie, and that's what I really loved about doing that character is just had a little adventure, a little fun, and but he wasn't perfect. He was always making mistakes and messing things up, but finding a way to help everyone out along the way, and that's one of my favorites, I think.
All right, we're gonna open it up to a Q&A now. So we could form a line down the middle.
Everyone gets to ask a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
And while you guys are getting ready, I have one more question. What property would you like to see turned into a Lego movie, video game, or series, and what character would you like to voice?
For 10 in the morning.
Oh, man.
Wow. What property could be great Lego? And you know, I'll probably say something and it's already been done, so I gotta be careful. Because they've done a lot.
I got one.
Do it.
James Bond.
Oh.
Because if you took a James Bond, the James Bond character, and treated it like they did the Lego movie,
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. As strange as it sounds, I think Death Note would make some pretty cool Lego. The sets, some of the sets would be amazing. And I'd still want to play Ryuk. That would be my character.
That'd be
Would
awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Now I'm thinking about anime.
Yeah.
Attack on Titan would be amazing. Huge sets of Titans. Different creepy beige colored bricks with teeth. All right.
All right.
Hi there, I'm a big Ninjago fan. And I
Cool, come closer to the mic.
Can't hear you yet. Hang on.
Closer to the
Is
mic.
it on?
It's on. They're just going to turn you up a little.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi,
There we are.
I'm a big fan of Lego Ninjago, and I was wondering, this question is specifically for Vincent.
Yes.
Who has the better hair, you, Kai, or Flash Sentry?
Oh, wow. Me, Kai, or Flash Sentry? Best hair.
Featherbangs.
That's a good question. I used to have pretty crazy hair like Kai and Flash. Now it's all like slicked back because it's easier to do. But I think I would say me. I have the best hair, for sure. It's not even a contest. Thank you for your
I saw a
question.
headshot of you that literally looked like you were an anime character.
Oh, really?
You must know the one. I don't.
Is it? Do I have a mustache, a goatee, and
Maybe, but you've got
Really
super
small.
anime hair, and it's
Yeah.
yours.
I went Super Saiyan for that one. Hi.
Hi there. A specific question, not a Ninjago question directly, but I've dabbled a bit in voiceover, and I know that there's a distinction between voiceover and voice acting. I'm looking into acting classes, but how does one best prepare for voice acting as opposed to voiceover? And is there any sort of mix? Is it mutually exclusive? That's what I seem to hear sometimes. I'd like to hear from you guys.
I would add a word to, well, no, you mentioned it. I would isolate acting. That's the most important thing if you want to get into voiceover, voice acting, VO, VA, whatever. It's the acting that is the very first thing. So on top of that skill, you layer the other skills of, doing certain things with your voice, being able to mimic, timing. Dubbing is very technical, and you have to match the flaps exactly. And so some of the acting gets taken away from you, so you got to be able to draw on your acting to be able to do that accurately. So I would just say anything you can do to hone your craft in acting, whether it's stage, classes, improv, that sort of thing, that's what I would recommend.
Someone will have to fill me in because I've been at this for a while, but I don't distinguish between voiceover and voice acting.
I think, I'm assuming you mean like dubbing. When you say
Or are you talking
voiceover.
about radio commercials?
When that would be what I'm talking about. The radio commercials and narration.
I still call that voice
I think it's
acting.
still.
Yeah, it's just all voice acting. I
Yeah.
wouldn't distinguish either.
Because there are some people that do distinguish it, and
They're wrong.
okay.
Absolutely.
Tell them to call Vincent.
Yeah, take it up with me.
They might not think they are, but even if they're doing radio spots, they're
You
still
gotta have it.
acting.
Yeah.
If you're a bad
I mean,
actor, you can't
there
do
is
it.
a difference. There is a difference in to be fair, there is a difference between announcing
Right.
and acting. Like a radio dude is an announcer.
Mm.
It sort of gently enters acting sometimes a little bit, but
Yeah, I guess there's some people that just do like promos and commercials versus animation.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that do all of it.
Mhm.
And like I know when I'm doing promos and commercials, I'm acting. Even if it's an announcer style thing. But there are there are things that really are, Thursday at 3, and it.
So you're still picking a character
I
when
know.
you do that, guy.
You can't be
I know,
like
it's
Thursday
it's a
at
fuzzy,
3.
fuzzy line, but it's better just to. It's all acting.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
So just keep doing what I'm doing, look into the acting.
Acting.
Yeah, find the acting, and then like Ian said, just play, mimic, copy. There's so much available online to find ways to take stuff, and there's some great websites out there too that give all kinds of ideas about where to start, where to begin.
There's
IanCorleet.com.
IanCorleet.com.
No.
Oh my gosh, I just lost it.
BronyDrummond.com.
Oh, in LA, he does all the crazy animal sounds and voices.
Oh, D. Baker.
D. Bradley Baker, yeah.
D. Bradley Baker has a great site
Yes.
that literally answers everything.
Yes.
For anybody new, there is not a question he doesn't cover. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And his own website. He's got a couple different. It's called iwannabeavoiceactor.com. That's what it is.
And-
all one word. iwannabeavoiceactor.com. Answer every question you could possibly want to answer.
Just in the last week or so, there was a new service that was announced. I don't know what the web address is, but if you go to VO Buzz Weekly, that's a talk show basically where Chuck Duran and his wife interview. Isn't that terrible? I don't remember her name, so it's just his wife. Anyway, they interview people in the voiceover business, all sorts of things, and they have just launched I think it's a more interactive version of what you were just talking about that D. Baker has, but it's coaching, and you can go to that site, and I think you can do it live with a remote coach, and there's some really big names in it.
Yeah.
There's specific ones for promo. What's her name? Derryberry. Debbie Derryberry is one of the coaches. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Anyway, it's really new and it's available, and that's a giant free plug for those guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good question.
Yeah.
Hi, this is a question specifically for Vincent Tong, who I'm now convinced is a real ninja after seeing that flip he did at the
He is.
opening ceremonies.
He is.
How do you feel about Kai being recast for the Ninjago movie?
What?
What?
Hold on a second. I'm not in the movie? You joking? Oh, this is awkward.
Michael Peña's a good actor.
Michael Peña's playing my part?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel great about it. Feel really happy and thrilled for Michael Peña. Probably needs a lot more money to support himself. Times have been tough for him after Ant-Man and the My Little Pony movie and Fury, and what else has he done lately? Not too many things. No, it's weird. It's a weird thing. It's Warner Brothers bought the rights to make the movie of Ninjago, and so they have total control of what they want to do with it. So it's their choice to do what they need to do, and sometimes this is just what Hollywood. I think I read this thing on D. Bradley Baker's website as well of how they're casting celebrities for animation now, just to get. I don't even think it's for promotion or to get butts in seats anymore. It's just for funding, really. It's, if someone goes to the investors and goes, listen, we got Kirby Morrow, Vincent Tong, Brian Drummond, Ian Corleet for this movie, they'll be like, who? And we got Michael Peña, we got Dave Franco, we got Jackie Chan. They'll be like, oh, here's a check for $1 million. I think that's the way the system works, and I understand that. This is how it works, and I just kind of take a deep breath and go, it's all right. There's other fish to fry out there.
What makes this one a little more thorny and a little odd is the fact that the series is still being produced. It's current. There's new episodes coming out, and it's not like a reboot of something and then they go, okay, well, let's just get this new cast and we'll do this and do that. You guys are certainly familiar with the My Little Pony movie that's coming out, and there's a whole bunch of big names in that, but at least what they did in that project was they peppered those big names in amongst the series cast. So I think that's kind of the right way to do it. And if it were my decision, I would have kept the cast in Ninjago and
Made some villains.
And made some villains. I'd be out of a job, but whatever. And give those the big names to the big names. I'm going to name drop a little bit without dropping a name. We were having dinner with the head of TriStar Pictures, so like a big movie company, just last week, and this very thing came up about Ninjago, and she was saying it's about the parents. It is always about money, yes, but their rationale is, look, the kids might go, what the heck? Why isn't Vincent doing that voice? That's a different guy. But when the parents are going up and spending their money and they see the poster and they go, oh, those guys, okay, we're going to go see that, because the parents aren't necessarily watching the show, but they are motivated by those names in a marketing sense. So it's complicated.
Yes. But I'm thrilled for Michael Pena. Hopefully he can pay his mortgage. No, he's a great actor. I respect him, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Come closer. To the mic, yeah.
Like this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Closer, even a little closer. Yeah, there.
How about now?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Here's a question for all of you three. For the Ninjago movie, all you three would go see it on opening day?
Oh, see it on opening day.
Probably not.
I don't think I'll probably see. I will see it.
I'll probably see it too.
I'm probably not going to see it on opening day, though.
Yeah.
No.
Do you like my fingernail polish?
Yeah, I did.
He gave this to me. I painted my nails yesterday. Well, one nail.
And he keeps showing it to me.
Just this one.
Hey, Ian, want to see my new nail? Wow, Vincent.
Hey, Ian, want to see it again?
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
It's not very nice. There's children here.
So there's the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Hello.
Hello. I'm gonna complete.
Complete.
I don't watch Ninjago. All right. Brother got me. Yeah. All right. He watches it. The one with the long black hair. Yeah, him. So I was wondering, can you give me some reasons to watch the show? Maybe get me into it.
Well, we're in it.
That is.
Kai, why should we want to watch you instead of Michael Pena?
Yes.
My hair is way better.
Yeah.
Good reason for me.
Yeah, there you go. Boom! Success. We got another fan. Woo! Hi.
How did each of you get into voice acting?
How did you get into voice acting?
I will be the Reader's Digest fast version. I went to theater school. I graduated theater school and was doing stage in the city that we're from in Vancouver. Film and TV I was doing there at that time. And when you're an actor, it's kind of like if you work in construction building a house, you might not just frame houses and do that. You might not just build houses, you build sheds, you build barns, you build fences, you do all kinds of things with your expertise. So as an actor, I thought, well, I can do theater, it pays, and do some film, and it pays, and oh, they want people to act voices on this show. Maybe I'll figure out how to do that. It pays as well, and I auditioned for a show called G.I. Joe Extreme with you way back in 1993, and booked my first voice acting role. And I saw some really cool people working on it. Gary Chalk, Ian Corleet, Scott McNeil, Terry Klassen, Michael Dobson. There were guys that were just doing some really interesting stuff, and this is so fun. And it really it made me want to do it more and more, and I started auditioning more and more until voiceover took over everything else, and it took me away from theater and film and TV, and now it's almost exclusively what I do is voiceover. But it started with training in theater school for me. How did you do it?
How did I do it? I always imitated things as a kid. We used to, back in the day, I was telling the kids this yesterday, but they used to have little tape cassettes for your voicemail, your answering machine. And every week I would change the answering machine message, be like, I don't know, hello, you've reached the Tong residence, please leave a message. And then the next would be like, hello, you reached the Tong residence, leave a message after the beep, and just change it all up. And I would, used to like imitate like Simpson voices and stuff like that. And then I just made just the same as Brian. I did theater school, and I was a singing, dancing dude, and I just wanted to see what voice was all about. And I took a class. The one class I took was from Kathy Westlake, and she was awesome. She showed me how things work. We did a He-Man script, I think, and yeah, it was really, really fun. And I just really wanted to break into the industry. And yeah, my very first show was the same, like in a room full of crazy, talented people: Sam Vincent, Brian Dobson, Tara Strong, Chiara Zani, and Sushi Pack. And I played this big piece of tuna called Toro. That was fun. But yeah, from then on, it was just like, just keep plugging away, and here we are.
I came at it from a really different way. I did not go to theater school. I did take theater in school, but I made films when I was a kid, and this was pre-YouTube, pre-videotape even. Like I made 8mm movies, and a lot of them were animated. So I would do my own voices for the animated films, and entered lots of film festivals and won lots of film festivals. I ended up, I don't know if I told you guys this, but I ended up winning the BC Student Film Festival Most Promising Filmmaker 1980.
Wow.
And then 1980.
1980?
Yeah, and I was, I won. And then I retired because there was no film industry in Vancouver to speak of at that point. I mean, once in a while there would be a...
Before your time, you should have been like 10 years later.
I should have been, because what I wanted to do was take the Spielberg route, where you go work at a studio, and then kind of figure it out, and hey, I'm a filmmaker, and I can, but anyway, I was just not in the right place at the right time. And so I stopped doing that, and went to work for the family business, and did voices at the family business. And what was happening in Vancouver at that time was a very vibrant radio commercial industry. It was very vibrant in the late 70s, all the way to about 1990. And they were making commercials for all over the world out of Vancouver, and they were really funny. And I noticed on a trip to California once, hearing these voices, and I would go, that's the Vancouver guys. Oh. So there must be a production company. I was 19 or 20. So I just started banging on the doors of the people who made those radio commercials, and eventually got my foot in the door as a character guy. I never sounded like me. It was always an accent or something weird. And a few years later, the animation work started to come to Vancouver, and those producers who came with the animation work went to those radio producers and said, who does voices? And that was my introduction into animation.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Marn to you, pirate.
Yeah, I know. So my name is Robert. I've watched the show ever since it came out.
Sweet, cool.
I'm right now currently 19 years old. Yesterday was my birthday.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. So I have a question for all three of you. I know in the world there are like Lego fan conventions and expos that people make a lot of like creations or my own creation mocks. I'm just wondering if do you guys ever wish to want to go to any like those conventions and kind of see what people have created? And if possible, do you think it would be a really great idea to make a Ninjago convention specifically for that?
I think it'd be a great idea to have a Ninjago convention. That'd be awesome. We just need people to put them on, and we'll be there.
After the movie comes out, you never know.
You never know.
Drum up more support for that idea.
Yeah.
The idea of a convention for a specific show is quite rare. I mean, this pony thing is rare in the convention world. I mean, there are Transformers conventions, but that's really for a whole group of shows. Yeah. So I don't know how likely that would be, but of course, love it.
Now a Lego one, I can imagine.
Yeah.
More, because there's so many Lego shows.
I bet that could happen.
Lego, Ninjago, that would be a
That'd be really fun.
BronyCon, if someone put that together.
Yep.
Because there's so many performers, LA, Vancouver, Toronto, that have worked on Lego movies and the big Lego movies. They could invite a couple of big names and then a lot of people that do the TV series work too. That would be pretty fun. Yeah. Get on that.
You
Thank
Talk
you.
to some people.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
My question is for Vincent. If you ever had the chance to have a sister like Kai's sister, would you want one?
If I ever had a chance to say that again,
If you ever had the chance to have a sister like Kai's sister, would you want one?
like Nia,
Yeah.
yeah, I would actually. I do have a sister in real life. I have a twin sister. Her name's Dorothy, and we're very different. Sort of like me and Nia. I'm very similar to Kai. I think that's why I got Kai, because he's sort of spontaneous, he's rebellious, he's a hothead, he kind of just jumps before he thinks. And that was me as a kid with my sister and I. We would fight all the time, because I was running off the walls, I was very ADD, I was like, we would go on family road trips, and like literally we'd like hit a bump, and I would like bump into her, she'd be like, Vincent, touch me! And then my dad would be like, Vincent, don't touch her! And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just bumped into her, and be quiet! And I'm like, oh. So I have to like read my Archies and like sulk and like look at her, and she'd be like so yeah, we had some sibling rivalry. So maybe Nia would be a better sister for me than my actual sister. No, my sister's awesome. But yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, it'd be really fun. Especially if we had like elemental powers. Because then we could, I don't think I would throw fire at her, but she could throw water on me. And I could make steam with, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Next week on Science Talk.
There you go.
Good question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Morning.
Good morning. My name is Kristen, and I was wondering if you ever get nervous while acting, and could you give any tips on people who suffer from anxiety? Because last semester I had to give out a case study, and I was just a stammering mess. So is there any advice you can give to us?
Yeah, I mean,
Advice if you're nervous.
we all get nervous sometimes.
Deep breathing.
Yeah.
Deep breathing.
Yeah.
And as much as you can, for whatever situation you're finding yourself nervous in, try to mock play it live, or at least in your head beforehand, without working yourself up unduly, but to just try to put yourself in that situation so that it's not new when you get there. It takes a little imagination, but that and a lot of deep breathing, especially right before you go into something, I think works.
And it's like an audition, what you talked about, when you have to do a presentation in front of someone, which is is that what you had to do, is like a presentation?
It was for microbiology.
Yeah, and it's a presentation, you're up in front of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's kind of like an audition. You're trying to say, is this good? Is this good enough? I want this to be good. Please tell me it's good. That's what we're doing. It's the same thing.
Please like me.
Please like me. Please tell me this is good. Please hire me. Auditions are a lot like job interviews. People ask us that. I say, we go, oh, it must be so fun to be an actor. And I'm like, well, you know what? I have to do like 40 job interviews a week or what, or like we're constantly unemployed and we're constantly trying to be employed every single day. So some people that have a job, it's like, wow, I've been at the same job for 30 years. It's like, well, that's, at least you're not having to do a job interview every single day.
Right.
So we get pretty good at it because that's what we have to do.
Practice.
It's practice. And that, just like Ian said, if you have an opportunity to do it in front of other people, even if it's a couple of friends, family members, put them in a room just to know, I've said this aloud in front of others before, and they can give you a little bit of feedback, saying, well, you seemed really nervous at this part, or unsure about what you were saying, and then you can kind of fix things up a little bit and get prepared. But doing a mock version of it in front of other people, not just in front of yourself in the mirror, really helps. Even if it's in front of one person, you'll be nervous doing it. And just like when we have on-camera auditions or different auditions, I've many times sat down for another actor and they said, I want to do this audition for you, and they're nervous, like doing it in front of one person.
Oh yeah.
But it helps to just get it out in front of somebody.
Yeah.
So that's probably your best bet.
I wanted to add something too. This is something that I do and my buddies do. There's a lot of people that do it. And it relates to acting, but as well as just being a person and just having confidence. It's called power posing, and it's so weird, it feels weird, and it seems weird, but it actually works. It's about holding a powerful pose, like that. Before an audition, my buddies and I, we stand like this, just opening up your arms like it's like, I want myself, or like you're just like embracing the world, or you're standing like this, like a superhero pose, you know, just like this. And you can do this in an audition room. You can just do this, waiting around. Yeah, you see, that's Ian's pose. But you do see people in the audition room, especially TV and film auditions, where people are so nervous. They do this. They're just like so scared. They're like their arms are crossed, and like that's the energy that you're gonna give out. Even in real life, if you do this, people are not really gonna approach you because you're so closed off. But if you're standing like this, standing proper, or just like hands on your hips, like you just want to race like this, or whatever it is, being open, that physically does something to your body. Chemically, it does something to your body and your mind. Just everyone do this right now. Everyone do this. Does that feel different already? Just by having your arms open, it just makes you feel more open to the world and more accepting. Like, here I am, world. This is me. Deal with it. You know? It's just trust me. It feels weird. It feels awkward. But it's gonna make you physically feel different, and it's gonna change your mindset. Your whole perspective of things is gonna change.
I don't like when Vincent yells at me like that.
So try that out.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Well, look, we have an explorer.
Yes.
It's too short for the mic.
Daring do, Alice.
Daring to.
Let's try this. I'm sorry.
Here we go.
You got your helmet today.
Yes. Let me try that. I feel nervous. It's crazy.
Yes.
Alright.
Wonderful.
I had a couple questions, but I don't want to ask them all. Or do, but I don't at the same time. Shoot, I went bright. I did. I did. I had a quick question about I don't know if you guys seen the trailers for the new Lego movie.
Mm-hmm.
My question was, is the movie actually just a spoof or something, or is it actually part of the Ninjago universe? Because I was just watching it first staring like, what am I watching? Because of mostly the scenery, it reminds me of that guy's basement in that first movie, and it's not like, doesn't look like the world of Ninjago that I'm
Right.
used to, because I don't feel drawn into it.
Right.
So I was trying to figure out if it's actually like, I think the word is canon.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think it's not a spoof per se, but it's like it's a totally different what's the word for it? It's sort of a spin-off of the show. What's the proper word for that?
It definitely, I hear where you're coming from, has a totally different vibe
Yeah.
than the show.
Yeah.
Like they're going for a lot different comedy than, like it's sillier.
Yeah, they're basing it off of the Lego movie because of that franchise was such a popular
Batman movie.
And the Batman movie, exactly. That sort of like tongue-in-cheek humor, breaking the fourth wall. That's the same vein that they're taking Ninjago with. So basically, they're just taking the story and the characters and thrown it into that world. So it's a totally different show that is going to be somewhat touched upon in the coming season of the TV show. But when we come back to the TV show realm, it's definitely you're gonna feel the same vibe as you've felt the last few years. But with just like a little nuances little new nuances, maybe a little new hairstyles for the
Cool new characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
New comebacks and better catchphrases, as Jay would say.
Maybe. Jay has a lot, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Morning. Oh, no.
Morning. There you go.
Oh, perfect.
That's good. Yeah. Morning.
Morning.
Yeah, my question, are there any shows that if they were rebooted, kind of like how DuckTales is being rebooted, are there any shows in the past, if they were rebooted, you'd look at it and say, I have to be a part of this, or I want that part?
Every single one of them.
There's some great ones. Yeah.
I just want the work. I want to do that one. Yeah, I want to do that one.
Oh, for me it was DuckTales. They're rebooting DuckTales because that was my favorite show as a kid. And now they're doing it again. And the animation looks so different. I don't know. It's a weird thing when they reboot something because it's something that brings nostalgia to you. And And now that it's a brand new animation, new voice cast, I'm sort of like, you're not as good as the original. But I'll give it a shot, you know, I'll give it a chance. I love Darkwing Duck as well. So maybe if they reboot that one, that'd be fun.
Wow, that's tough.
And Jim Cummings would still be Darkwing Duck because he's amazing.
He's amazing. You know, I've never really thought about it. I get asked that a lot about if there's any character you could be or on a show you could be on. There's so many great shows. I think I'd be, like Ian said, it's great just to be working and be on any show because there's fun stuff to find in any show. And it's also very fun to be part of something where you're the original of what was created, right? Like it's got to be pretty exciting as opposed to you're the reboot version of it. So that's almost a little more exciting to me. But we do hundreds of those that never go anywhere. That get one season, and you think it's going to be the next one.
Yeah.
It was so fun. You're like, woo, 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 woo.
I know. Yeah. I did Voltron Force because I used to play with Voltron, and I was like, Voltron Force, I'm part of Voltron, and I'm like, it did do very well.
So yeah, I love doing original stuff, but man, if anybody came along and I landed some role that was something that I grew up watching would be pretty exciting. I mean, my stuff's old school, like Flintstones and Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, well,
and
this is
doing a lot of that.
kind of what I'm thinking too, and I'll twist your question. And if I could go back in time, and it sort of is a similar answer to Brian's. Like I really prefer to create something, but my favorite. There was cartoons that I really loved to watch. I was a big Bugs Bunny Roadrunner Hour fan because the Warner Brothers cartoons were just edgy and funny. I loved Disney, the features and all of that stuff, but I always felt they were, in terms of humor, it was Warner Brothers. In terms of quality, it was Disney. But in terms of my voicing stuff, I would have loved to have been in that group. And it was the same cast that did all this stuff. Rocky and Bullwinkle, the Boris and Natasha, I think Secret Squirrel maybe. But there was just this, they all kind of came out of the Stan Freberg radio comedy group. And it was a troupe, really. And I love that kind of thing where, and we come up against this stuff all the time where they're always looking for new voices. We want new voices, we want new voices. But the funniest stuff and the coolest stuff was very often, it's that same group because they know each other and the humor is really good. And my idol in voice was Dawes Butler. And I'd like to be Dawes back then. So it's not really the answer to your question.
Still a good one.
Thanks.
Thank you. Morning. Thanks for waiting so long.
I didn't wait long. I just jumped in when the line got started. So my question is for all of you. Has there ever been this one memorable line that you had a ton of trouble saying with a straight face because it was just...
Trouble saying with a straight face.
I remember I played Erwin, this nerd in Nerds and Monsters, the show at which we're all on. And I was like a teacher. Erwin, for whatever reason, he's such a nerd and he has no power, but for whatever reason, he was a teacher. And he had to teach a class, and you said something as Lyle, and he plays this little cute little monster, and I'm like, shut up, Lyle, not right now, and I couldn't yell at him without laughing, and I did 13 takes. I don't really even remember what the line was. It's just because it was so out of character for Erwin to yell at a cute little monster that I just cracked myself up every single time doing it.
What's called in improv corpsing. It doesn't happen that often in voiceover, but sometimes it does, and that's when. And it's not always the line that does it. It's usually something's gone on in the room. A situation. Somebody's even said a joke in between lines, and the snick. Everybody gets the giggles or something, and you just can't continue, and everything has to stop. And that doesn't happen often. Maybe.
I do it a lot.
Maybe 4 or 5 times where and I think Tabitha did something on some show. I can't remember once, but both of us could not continue. I think James was directing too, and he was surprised that we actually had to stop. Neither of us could say anything. We skipped a chunk, moved on. I don't know what was wrong because it usually doesn't happen to me, but something made us both laugh incredibly, and it was probably something Tabitha said because she cracks me up a lot with just the silly stuff that she does. So
I remember one. It wasn't me uncontrollably laughing, but I was in the room. Again, going way back to Sonic the Hedgehog. Long John Baldry played Dr. Robotnik. And it was a terrible situation for him because the cast was very much like the cartoon. You had this elegant, large man in Long John Baldry who was very he hardly even spoke to us idiots over on the other side because he was just doing his Shakespearean theatrical stuff. And it was me, Gary Chalk, and Phil Hayes that were just. We were goofs. And the one line that got Long John, and because we tortured him, it's like, hey, Long John, we're just trying to bug him all the time, and he's just always straight. One line got him, and he was talking about building a new line of robots, and he was going to use the best of this, the best parts, sourcing stuff from everywhere, and the end line was the finest lubricants. And he read that and went, the finest, and he couldn't do it for about 5 minutes. And we went, that's what cracks the code? After like 6 months of us going, hey, laugh at me. So that's the one I remember.
Good question.
I do have one Ninjago related story that leads to cracking up, is Mark Oliver, who voices Garmadon, but he also voices Zane's father figure, and he had a really touching scene that was so emotional that he was about to pass, basically, and say goodbye to Zane. And his line was like, son, you are so special to me, and I love you. And then Michael Dobson, right after he says, I love you, goes, and we all start cracking up, and Mark's so offended. He's like, it wasn't me! Who was that? Who was that? It wasn't me! And we were all cracking up so loudly. And then Michael Donovan, our director, was like, that was hilarious. And then we played it back for him. And it was like, son, I love you. And it was so great. It really made him mad, which was awesome. Let's end it on a farting note.
Well, at least we ended it on a Ninjago story.
Yeah, that's true.
That was good.
Thank you so much for coming to Voices of Ninjago.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for showing up.